also like another difference between the theater land-based and cruise ship is like, if you're late, it's not like you're stuck in traffic. It's not like something's happened at home and you've had to attend to that. Like you're always available. So like if my phone rings, it's like, oh, like I have to attend.
Hey everyone, welcome to The Rose Show. This week we have Sydney Brown, who is recognized all around the world for her wide range of acrobatic skills and has traveled to over 50 countries around the world. I was lucky enough to catch her before she goes back to flipping around the globe and got Sydney to give me a few of the ins and outs of performing on a cruise ship for a living. She is also a social media influencer with over 2 million followers on TikTok alone and discusses with me a few of her thoughts about balancing an influencer's lifestyle with being an on-call performer and gives some great advice to aspiring acrobatic performers. If you are a young athlete looking to make a career out of performing acrobatics on stage, this podcast is for you. Alright everyone, let's go. Sydney, how are you doing? Thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you. I'm doing well. I'm stuck in quarantine like most of the world right now, but pushing through.
Yeah, we're all kind of struggling with that, but as long as you're keeping busy and healthy, then that's good.
Yeah.
So how did you get into gymnastics and all that? Obviously, you had a bit of a shorter stint in gymnastics than most people before you jumped out, but how did you get into it?
Well, actually, I started artistic gymnastics when I was 1.5 years old. My parents lied about my age and said I was 2 because I was climbing my swing set to the top and like making my way across the bars and then letting go. So I did artistic until I was 15, and then I switched to power tumbling. And I did that until I was 19, and then I wanted to go down like the whole performing route, but I didn't really know with school, like should I not? So I applied to some colleges, got my acceptances, but also got an offer from Royal Caribbean to be part of their acrobatic team. And my first contract was on the Oasis of the Seas, and it was 6 months. And I said to my coach, Dennis, like maybe go do this for 6 months and come back and continue competing, go to school. But as soon as I started my first contract, I was like, oh yeah, that's not happening.
That's funny. So you go through the gymnastics system with Dennis Vachon?
Yep.
Yep. He's a good guy. And then you say, I'm not really sure what I want to do, so I'm going to kind of try it out. But then you got hooked instantly.
Immediately. I was like, wait, I'm getting paid to do this and traveling and meeting all these people and doing what I love. Like, yeah, competing's done.
So you never really liked competing too much? You rather the traveling and training more?
I loved competing and I loved training. And I think because my whole life I'd been in like the gymnastics world, it was really hard for me to leave and try something different because I knew nothing else. So it literally broke my heart to leave the gym for 6 months. And I remember missing that first nationals and being like, oh, everyone's together and, I'm supposed to be there. But I mean, I don't know. I guess I found like a new passion for the sport, and I was learning so many different things and meeting so many different people and getting paid.
Well, that's the big thing, and eventually you got to get paid, that's why a lot of people open a gym or start coaching and stuff, but you took a different path, which obviously sounds like it's really worked out for you. And now you're traveling. So now what's it like doing the shows on the ship? Is it just like any other show, and does it get boring after a while, or how is that?
Yeah, so I've done land shows and I've done ship shows, and I think the biggest difference, my venue on the ship is outdoors. So we're faced with weather challenges, the movement of the ship. So when you're on the trampoline, for example, and the ship's doing, rocking back and forth, your angles can be a bit off, which we're allowed to modify.
But you can feel it?
Oh yeah.
Really? I would have thought like a big ship like that they would have had that stuff pretty leveled out.
Winter in the Caribbean Atlantic Ocean is a bit spontaneous, but if the ship is moving too much, it's also a pool. I work in the aqua show. So think of a pool sloshing back and forth. So we're losing water, one, which makes it super unsafe for the divers who are diving from a 3-meter platform, 10-meter, and 17-meter platform. And the pool is only 14 feet deep on normal conditions. So when it's rocking side to side, it just gets lower and lower. And then also when we're in the water, we get like hook up to aerial equipment and all that stuff underneath. We've got scuba divers. We're all PADI certified. So you're getting sloshed around too underwater, and like people are trying to dive. So it just becomes kind of chaos, and we have to sometimes postpone the show. But I think that's the biggest difference between land shows and cruise ship shows is
I
the
never
weather
would.
and the motion of the ocean.
Wow, I didn't know it actually had that much effect. I figured there's a little bit, but because I always thought, well, they have pool tables and stuff like that, so it can't be that much. But I guess once you get right into it, right?
Yeah, and then there's hurricane season, which is always fun, dodging those things as well. So,
Ooh, how
yeah.
often would you have to cancel a show just because of bad weather?
So it depends where the ship is. In the Caribbean, it is a little bit more rough. So I would say winter time is probably the worst. And it can be like once or twice a week. We'll have to push the show to another day. But over in the Mediterranean, you're quite protected. And we only had to postpone one show, my last contract.
Okay,
So,
well, that's good. But you guys
yeah.
don't suffer for that. That's just kind of part of the con. You still get paid for that, right?
Yeah.
Even
So,
though.
yeah, then that's another thing too. On land, you're paid per show. On the ship, I'm salary based. So like even if even if we can't get in that last show or any shows, I'm still paid.
That is cool. So, is it a year contract? Is it just a per tour? Is it 6 months, 10 months? What's the deal?
So they used to be 6 months, and now they're on average 10 months. The performers are definitely on board the longest of anyone on the that works on the ship, but we also have days off. Like we do 5 days a week of shows, and then we do have 2 days off. There's still other like little duties that we'll have to do on those days. Just that's what it's like being a crew member. But everybody else on board does work 7 days a week. So we're very privileged in the sense that we can get off the ship through the day because we don't perform through the day because the guests are getting off the ship. So I don't know. I feel really lucky to be able to explore wherever we are in the world and have time to myself, whereas most people don't.
That's really cool. So, what's a typical day for you? Like, what's a week look like of shows? When are you on the ship? When are you off the ship? When are you performing? When are you chilling at the pool? How's that work?
Yeah. So in a normal world, people have a Sunday to Sunday schedule. We call it day 1, day 2, day 3, like, and so on. Or we call it by the port name. So like Barcelona, Marseille, like that's what day it is. It depends on the day, and you do have like kind of a weekly routine, and it's the shows stay on a consistent schedule. But depends where I am. Like if I feel like getting off the ship, I'll get up early, get off, go for a hike, go in the ocean, depending on where I am in the world, go for pizza if I'm in Italy. But if it's a port that I'm not necessarily too particular about seeing, like for me, Jamaica was my least favorite port. I'd sleep in, go to the gym, watch a movie, go tan and by the pool deck. So it all depends on like what you want to do really through the day. We have once the show's open, we have like little rehearsals just to maintain and just for us to move our bodies, but nothing strenuous, nothing like super set. We have to come in on this day at this time every week and run this number. It's just more of maintaining the integrity of the show and your bodies. So it's really chill once the shows are open.
I was gonna say that sounds pretty cool. That sounds really relaxed, just kind of day by day. How many shows will you do typically in a week?
9.
9. Okay.
So I do 6 aqua shows and 3 theater shows.
Oh, you got to like dance and sing and all that sort of stuff.
Oh, I'm definitely not a dancer or a singer, but we have a fast track in one of the shows that's in the theater, and do like bungees and aerial type work, and stage tumbling. So,
And how long is each show?
Roughly 45 to 50 minutes.
So you're basically working 45 minutes. Let's round up an hour for pre warm up and all that. So an hour times 9 hours a week.
Yeah, we have a 45-minute warm up. But I would say, yeah, for shows, about that. And then we do
Jesus.
have like every other week we have to do like a boat drill, which is like a safety drill that the whole ship has to do. And then we have, so each cast, because on the ships that I work on, they're the biggest in the world. So we have an ice skating cast, we have a dance cast, we have like the acrobats, synchronized swimmers, divers, high divers, and we kind of support each other's shows as far as spotlighting and dressing. So like in the ice show, there's so many quick changes that they need help backstage. So we kind of all help each other out with our shows. So like if we're not doing shows one night, we're probably, dressing the ice cast or spotlighting the theater cast or something like that.
Okay, so even though you're only performing maybe 9, 10 hours a week, you're still on all hands on deck, literally, for
Yeah.
all of it.
And it's also like another difference between the theater or sorry, land based and cruise ship is like, if you're late, it's not like you're stuck in traffic. It's not like something's happened at home and you've had to attend to that. Like you're always available. So like if my phone rings, it's like, oh, like I have to attend whatever, It's not
Okay,
like,
so you're
which
on call.
yeah.
You're on
Yeah.
call. So that's got to be a bit stressful though. So like it sounds almost really good when you first say it, but then when you kind of get into the day to day, you are always kind of on. And what happens if you're like hiking, like you said, through the mountains of God knows where, and then they call you, and then you have to run back to the boat?
Well, then there's not much you can do because normally if they want you back on the ship for something, they need the whole cast. And to be able to get the whole cast that's already off the ship back on board, like, it's impossible. So you kind of know that stuff in advance. Like say if I had plans to get off the ship tomorrow and like go take a ferry to another island, and then they're like, oh, we need you here for an hour at 12 to 1, then you're like, oh, my day's ruined. But then I'm like, really, is it that ruined? Like go I can still get off the ship in the morning. I just can't take the ferry to that island. Like there's pros and cons to it, but the pros definitely outweigh the cons.
Well, yeah, you get to travel and go. How many different countries and places have you been, would you say, if you had to give a number?
I actually counted the other day and I've been to 55 countries.
Very over like 6, 7 years kind of thing?
I would say, I don't know, like I've been performing for almost 10 years. So yeah.
Wow. That's a lot of performing.
Yeah, when I'm off the ship too, I usually use my vacation time to travel somewhere that like, the ship doesn't go, or like something that's really high on my bucket list.
So
So I'm
mainland.
constantly moving.
Yeah. Yeah, you're kind of like me. You just need to be in a new place all the time, new
Yeah,
experience. I bet
I love going to new places.
yeah, what's your favorite place that you've ever been?
I think Indonesia.
Oh, we know Indonesia very well. Where do you go?
I was actually super lucky to be part of this trip 2 years ago through the tourism board, and we went to Bali, Raja Ampat, Durawan, and Komodo National Park. And I love like scuba diving and stuff, which it was more of a scuba diving trip, so it was unreal. I mean, it was just so untouched, and like the corals and fish were like insane. And I swam with a whale shark and a manta ray, and it was like dreams come true. But it was so beautiful, and the people are so nice there, and I dying to get back.
Yeah, no, we always stop there every year and on our way to New Zealand, and we always take a good couple weeks. We know we could kind of move on and go back to business, but like, I can do it here. It's fine.
Such easy living too.
It
Uh,
is. It's a lot lower, and that's what I've learned as we've traveled is that when you grow up in Canada, it is what it is. But then when you get out there, it's everything that you didn't know it is. And there's so much different ways of people living and doing this, that, and the other. But also so many ways that they're very similar. We had people in Indonesia trying to sell us timeshares and stuff like that, just like in North America.
yeah,
It's really funny.
yeah.
What is maybe the worst travel experience you've had?
Oh, no, I think I've had a couple, but I was backpacking through Europe and we went to Florence, and the place that we had booked was not the place that was like online. It was kind of like a false advertising thing, and the whole place was under construction, and like they moved all the beds into one room. And like I don't mind staying in hostels and like cheaper places, especially when I'm traveling. But it was just not ideal. And then we told them like, we're not staying here. But then now I'm in Florence and it's like getting late and don't have a place to stay. So that was a bit scary, like, because obviously I don't want to spend like 500 euros on one night somewhere. So just trying to find a place. That was a bit stressful. But I had my the day we got to Oahu in Hawaii, it was too early to check into the Airbnb. So we went to the beach and we had this like soft top Jeep. And I was kind of apprehensive about leaving our stuff in the car, but I was like, there's nobody here. It's like 7 a.m., at this beach. Literally took like a 45-minute nap on the beach and went back to the car, and my backpack was stolen with like, luckily I had my passport locked in the safe. I had my wallet with me and my phone with me. I didn't bring my computer, but it was like, my sunglasses and my GoPro and just like all my bathroom stuff, which is replaceable. But it was just like the backpack that I've been traveling with for 10 years. And I was like, come on. Like I just got to this beautiful place and like my backpack was stuffed full of clothes. And so that was just kind of aggravating. But
We had one in Italy. We had all our stuff stolen out of the rental car because they put they put the big sticker, "Steal from me, I'm a rental car," and it's like, oh guys, you can't do that. And we got into a fight with the cops because we're like, with the rental car guys were like, well, we didn't break this, so they're trying to charge us for the window plus our GoPros, and computers were all gone and
no.
everything like that. And then all of a sudden they don't speak English. They know enough English to say no, but they don't know enough to actually help you in any way. And it's like, oh god. So
Yeah.
we learned we don't leave stuff around.
Stolen is the worst. Like it just, and you try not to let it ruin your day or like the rest of your vacation, but you're always like, I want my stuff.
Well, especially if computers or GoPros with lots of content, and it always happens right before you're like, okay, I just had a great video shoot or something. I got so much content. I haven't uploaded it yet, but I'm gonna go celebrate on the beach or something, before I start working, and then that's just a whole experience basically gone, because in this digital age, if it's not recorded, it didn't really happen in a sense.
Right.
Oh, yeah, that definitely is tough, man. That sucks. But what about, like, what's one of the best travel moments? Not necessarily location, but like, is there a moment that you were just like, oh my God, this is what I want to do forever? Like, is there an amazing moment like that?
Again, Indonesia, like,
Really?
yeah, just the hikes and the underwater experiences that I had. And like we were traveling with professional photographers too. So it's like to even get that all documented in like the most special way ever. Like that is one of the most memorable trips. But I also do love Hawaii, like all of the hiking there and stuff, and so remote. And I don't know, those two places are definitely on the top of my list.
Very cool. So now, if everything got blown up for whatever reason and you now had to do a regular job, how would you feel if you had to come back now and do a 9 to 5 and not be able to travel the same way and all that?
Oh, so I have realized that a 9 to 5 is not for me. So right now during this quarantine, I'm actually studying firefighting. And I hope to kind of have that finished by the end of the year because I'm doing the online portion. And then I'll have to go to Texas for a boot camp. So hopefully the borders open by the end of the year and I can start applying to places, because I'm very lucky that I kind of decided that I'm on the end of ship life and maybe the end of my performing chapter. So I'm lucky in the sense that COVID didn't take that away from me, that I kind of made that decision last year. And that being said, I still do want to travel whenever I can, and I can't wait for borders to open and just to get out a little bit. But yeah, so no 9 to 5 job for me.
Okay, so what does it take to then become a firefighter? So isn't that going to be a bit of on call? Aren't you going to be sort of a slave to the firehouse?
No, so at least in Toronto area, they do 24-hour shifts. So it works out that you're only doing 7 24-hour shifts a month, and you can swap shifts too. So like my dad's a Toronto firefighter and he can swap a shift and have a week off and my parents go away or something. So, and even just growing up, he was always around. Like he was able to drive me to the gym and he came to all my competitions and he was just always there, which I think is great. And yeah, so following a dad's footsteps.
Well, that's cool. I bet he's happy about that.
Yeah, and it's cool too because I get to like ask him all these questions and stuff, or so I don't understand something.
Yeah, you have to, he
So,
can be your personal little tutor and everything, and maybe open some doors
yeah,
and stuff like that. That's pretty cool. But it's good that you can be able to balance it out, even coming from a life where you basically travel and get paid to travel anywhere you want, really, and then at least being able to not completely throw that away and be able to control
yeah,
your schedule with the firefighting.
that's like super important to me, and I can still do like the social media side of things as well, which
Has
is great.
when you started really blowing up on social media, I see you have like 2 million followers on TikTok. How that a lot of people have been blowing up just overnight on this thing. It's out in what, China and like other countries, India. That's where it's really kind of taken off. What was that
Yeah.
like? Did you think you were gonna blow up there, or did that just happen randomly overnight?
So I downloaded the app and I didn't know how to even add music or anything to it, and I just posted two like gymnastic videos that were on my Instagram onto this platform. And I forgot about the app for like 2 months. And I went back to it and there I had over 300,000 views on both of them. And like, I don't even know how many likes, but I was like, what is this? And I had no music because I didn't even know what I was doing. And then I kind of started posting more and more. And then the TikTok team even reached out and asked me to be part of their team to, post X amount of times a week. And my niche, I guess, is more fitness gymnastics on that platform. But yeah, now a bunch of brands are jumping on. I don't really understand TikTok. Like anything can go viral and anything can flop. So
Yeah,
I don't know.
it seems like a weird platform. We have been playing with it on and off a little bit, but trying to figure out something that doesn't change our other social media. We're trying to be consistent the way we do it, because if every time a new social platform pops up, you now change your image and all
Yeah.
that, it's gonna get really hectic because there's always gonna be a new one and a new one and a new one, you know?
Yeah.
And that's it's kind of cool what's happened with it. I kind of I feel like TikTok is more just kind of cartoony, sort of just funny, wacky sort of stuff. It's not really impactful necessarily from an emotional perspective or like informative. Like I'm not seeing too many tutorials and stuff, but I don't know if it's going to eventually go that way.
Yeah, who knows? It's kind of like Vine 2.0. Like so random.
Yeah, it really is. I remember Vine. Oh man, whatever happened to those guys? I heard that they were running their shop out of like just some, not hotel, but just like some apartment building, along with a bunch of other like gamer guys.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So when you work with these brands and you're starting to now get a following, what do they expect from you? How does that work out?
It all depends. Like some brands want a one-off post, some brands want a monthly contract. Um, and anywhere, I guess with TikTok, it's anywhere from 15 seconds. I try to tell the brands like 15 to 25 seconds is the best because you want to get that view count. So if it's like a minute video, it's hard for people to, for some reason, sit and watch the full minute. They'll swipe and move on to the next video and it just doesn't get that view count, which I don't know, I guess the more views, the more comments, the more likes, then the more likely it is to go on that For You page and just spread.
It all just kind of builds because all the logarithms are kind of interconnected between the likes and how long you've been watching it and this, that,
Yeah.
and the other, and who
You read
shared it.
it and yeah.
Exactly, exactly. And how much, I'm not sure if you're allowed to say, but how much on average are these brands willing to pay for content on these kind of platforms?
So I don't know. I guess I can say, but anywhere from like 300 a video to 2,000 for a video. So it depends on the brand. And for me, I more look at it as just an opportunity to work with another brand. I'm not too like picky about it has to be this price and it has to be this long. And a lot of people too are super open to just letting me have the creative freedom, which is nice. So I don't really like when a brand tells you that they want this specifically and this specifically and this caption. Like, at least give me some creative freedom, because I know my platform best as well. So it will then, and I don't know, the
Yeah.
video will be better or whatever.
Yeah, you got to have what makes you you, right? You can't
Yeah.
import someone else's methodology for their business that has no following to someone who already knows their people. You got to speak that
Yeah.
language.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. We have a lot of kids that are learning about social media and trying to figure out, how to do it and this, that, and the other. And we're just trying to give them a bit of a little insider perspective, because there's a lot of influencers out there that just basically make up a lot of poo poo and basically,
Yeah.
pretend like they're, making billions of dollars when in reality, I know they're not, and I think it's interesting. So as you start going into the whole firefighting, are you going to eventually have to drop some of the brand deals? Or are you going to try to do both? Or how's that going to work
I'm
out?
gonna try and do both for as long as I can. And I still want to stay like relevant in the whole fitness industry. Like, I don't plan on stopping like moving my body or anything like that. Um, I just ordered an air track. I cannot wait. I'm like, I have to move my body somehow. And like, the grass is so unappealing and painful. So, and
Air-
I'm excited because I also know that that's just another opportunity for me to create different content than what I have. So,
Well, that's the thing. It'd be cool. You balance out, when you're doing your 24 hours of firefighting, but then all of a sudden you got a couple of days, you can take a trip in with a brand and do something. So you
yeah,
still get to be the traveling person.
yeah, don't
Yeah.
want to stop that.
No, that's the thing. Do you ever think that if you got enough brand deals, you would just do that full time and skip firefighting?
No, I don't want that to be my like go-to job, because it is also, it ranges like monthly. I could have 5 deals one month, I could have one deal the next, I could have 10 the next. Like, it's just so unpredictable, and social media changes all the time. So I don't want to have to rely on a platform for my income, and then say it becomes like Vine, it just completely shuts down, and then what am I left with? Like, I do want to have an actual career and do this as a side thing, because it is more of a hobby and something I enjoy, but I do want some stability.
That's a really good point. Yeah, there's a lot of kids. They just think that they're gonna shoot to the moon, and then nothing could ever knock them down. But really quickly realize that that's not the case.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's a really good strategy that you're doing to kind of balance both, so you have that stability, but then also that excitement. That obviously, doing the same
Yeah.
thing every single day is going to get boring. So it's really nice how you sort of match that together.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
So
really cool. When you do your social media, do you have like a content strategy that you think about, like a kind of a game plan, or is it just, hey, I think this is kind of cool in the moment of, and let's see what they think?
some brands actually ask you for a concept before they accept you to like a campaign. So sometimes I do feel rushed to come up with like an idea, because they want it by the end of the day. And you're like, ugh. So I try and stick with something that I know that I can, one, accomplish, and two, I try, something creative. So I don't know, my niche is kind of like flipping or handstands type thing. So I kind of know what works best on the platform. And I have like a list of, combinations or things that I do want to try. So I don't know. I'm not really picky. I'm not one of those people that post at this time of day every day, or just whatever. And
Free
yeah,
flow.
there's
Good.
no there's
Like you
no
said.
rhythm to it.
Okay, so it's like you said, it's a hobby. It's free flowing. You
Yeah.
kind of catch it in the moment of, rather than everything mathematically planned out to the T.
I am definitely a perfectionist when it comes to the video that I end up choosing. Like, I think I take things like 10 times, because I want it to be perfect in that sense, but I'm not really picky on like what I'm going to post next.
Okay, that's cool. That's very, very cool. I guess there's something to be said for just letting it go,
Yeah.
And how much time do you spend on social media?
I don't know, like, I actually do enjoy browsing through other people's content, and I do find inspiration in it, and like even different different moves or different poses, like, oh, I want to try that, or like combine that with something else. I don't know, I guess more so lately than because I've been sitting at home, like when I'm on the cruise ship, you have to pay for Wi-Fi. So I'm not going to pay to scroll through people's stuff. Like I'll pay to talk to my family or talk to friends or post my whatever picture from me on the island drinking this tropical drink. Like, so it's I find at home I definitely scroll through it more freely than when I'm out traveling. Like when I'm traveling, like social media is not really a priority. Like I like to, go do all the adventurous things, and then when I'm on the airplane home is when like I'll kind of scroll through my stuff and like edit photos and videos and whatnot. So
Okay. So you're not one of these people that just lives online all day, just going
no,
through.
I don't
No,
really like that.
I'm the same way. Content's content, and I like some people, and I once in a while I'll just like from a happy perspective just kind of scroll through. But generally
Yeah.
speaking, I'm too busy to just sit there
Yeah.
and look at what everyone's doing.
And I'm like, I'm in this new place. I'm not going to sit on my phone in the hotel or whatever all day. Like I'm going to be exploring from the sun rises to the sun sets. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting. These kids all want to be influencers and travel, but then they live on their phones while they're traveling, and they're
right
literally sitting like we're
moment.
yeah, they can't. I don't even know what they're doing. And it's like, guys, why don't you look off your screen and look outside? And
Yeah.
it's pretty funny. But do you think that it will get more like that? Kids are just going to get more and more and live through their phones, or do you think more people are going to kind of do what you're doing, saying, okay, that's fine, but I need to see what the real world is about too?
I don't know. I don't think this whole quarantine thing is helping that situation right now. Um, I'm very grateful to grow up in the era that I did and that you did. Um, I feel like there's just so much pressure with social media too, with young kids, and people are so easily like can easily write whatever they want and bully and not have to do face to face. And I don't know, it's just sad. Like there's so much more to the world than what other people are doing on social media.
Yeah, I agree. There's a big world out there, and it's easy though. I get it from their perspective. To if you have to be quite frank, if you don't get the opportunity to travel to a new place every week, then it's very easy to kind of get lost online because at least is a step closer to where these people are going.
Yeah.
If you don't have the ability to do it, but I don't know if it's going to change human mentality in the next 100 years or not.
Yeah.
It's going to be very interesting to see where social media goes.
Yeah, but I don't think it's stopping anytime soon.
No, I think they're just going to innovate new ways because these guys are advertising and they're basically taking a human interaction and basically making money off of it, and that is very unique in a sense. Zuckerberg and all these guys that were in that .com bubble, kind of developing all this. These guys really just knocked it out of the park when you think about from a business perspective.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where it goes. Where do you think everything's going to go with gymnastics in the future? Do you think that we're going to go now more online contests and stuff like that through this whole corona thing? Or do you think it's going to actually put more pressure on live events because everyone's now screen to screen instead of, actually being there with the person?
I hope things go back to normal. And I feel so bad for those athletes. Like for me, I can relate to the whole gymnastics scene, but to be maybe at your best right now and then having this happen, like my heart breaks for them, and my heart breaks for the people that are, potential Olympians for like this summer. Um, I don't know. I do hope things go back to normal, and I hope gyms and other sports can even just open up because it's it'll be so weird if not. And like I feel like if you do have live performances, like you were saying, then you should be able to have kids do their sports as well because there's going to be the same interaction in a live show than there is, in gyms and other sport facilities.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know which way they're going to go with it. I can totally see a whole new industry of online sports that never really took off. But I still think it's going to balance out with live interaction. People tend to like knowing that they're part of a world with other human beings,
Yeah.
instead of just virtual digital pictures, But
Yeah.
we'll have to see. So, okay. So as we conclude today, I just want to ask you one final question. If you had an athlete come up to you saying, hey, I want to get into shows, I want to start traveling and doing basically what you're doing, would there be a do and a don't for them? Something they maybe should do if they want to get on that track, and something to definitely not do if they don't want to ruin their lives?
I think it's more just staying in the gym and continue training and competing. And like, if you want to do it, you have to be committed to it. You can't just show up to the gym one day and then not the next. Like, you have to stick with it. And then I think it's a matter of, creating your demo video and applying yourself. And if it's a no at first, it's not a no forever. Like, keep training, keep continuing, because it might take a couple years to get your foot in the door. But once your foot is in the door, the entertainment world is quite small. So then it's a matter of also, you want to maintain a good reputation once you're in that environment, because you might know so-and-so who's in that show who you didn't have a good interaction with. That, it's very small world. So I think just, if you want it, you have to commit to it, and you have to put the effort in.
Commit, work hard, and make some friends along the way.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the interview, and thanks. We're going to get you hopefully on another time. We can discuss more of your travels and see how everything develops. And just, one more time, thank you, and have a great day.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed and learned a few things. There's a big world out there worth exploring, and I'm happy to be able to bring these great experiences right to you through this podcast. If you enjoyed this podcast and learned something, please share and take a screen grab of our funky cartoons and hashtag GRT certified for a chance to win a shout out to our community. Also, please leave us a review to be part of helping this information get out into the industry. It's much appreciated. Along with these podcasts, we have a large online content hub that we call the GRT Network, with many other interviews and full tutorials and written content discussing everything about acrobatics. We will be constantly growing this archive of videos like a cross between Netflix and Wikipedia for anyone in the acrobatic industry. We also have a complete online educational program for athletes of all levels that provides a do-it-yourself pathway to success for any acrobat. Check out our constantly growing library of playlists that will teach you anything from tightening up your social media, to how to get around fear, to even learning all the biology that underlies all your acrobatic skills. We work very hard with our team around the world to provide this exclusive content for you, and appreciate any donations made to the FTA to help keep these episodes coming at you. And if you want all the content, become a GRT Network full member to get exclusive content before everyone else and access to special discounts and giveaways through our amazing global partners. Thanks guys, see you next episode.